Hi there. Welcome to my channel, where I discuss random topics to help you zone out and fall asleep. Or at least rest your mind from daily stressors. Today we are discussing potatoes. So, I have this ridiculous obsession with potatoes, and I recently realized I could probably cook them in like 100 different ways. And you know what? I decided to actually do it. Welcome to my journey through 100 ways to cook potatoes. Grab a snack, ironically maybe some chips, and let's get started with the first 10. Way number 1. Classic baked potato. Okay, we're starting with the OG, the classic baked potato. This is where it all begins, right? You just scrub your potato clean, stab it a few times with a fork so it doesn't explode in your oven. Learn that one the hard way. Rub it with some oil and salt, and throw it in at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. When it comes out, the skin is all crispy and salty, and the inside is like a fluffy cloud. Split it open, add whatever you want: butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon bits. Honestly, you can't mess this up. Way number 2. Perfect French fries. Now let's talk about fries, because we all know a good fry can change your whole day. Here's the secret my friend taught me: you gotta fry them twice. Cut your potatoes into sticks, soak them in cold water for like half an hour to get rid of the extra starch. Then fry them at 325 degrees Fahrenheit until they're cooked but still pale. Let them cool down, then crank up the heat to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and fry them again until they're golden and crispy. Salt them right away while they're hot. Trust me on this one. Way number 3. Creamy mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are basically a hug in a bowl. I peel and cube some russets, boil them until they're super tender, then drain them really well. Nobody likes watery mash. Here's the trick. Add warm butter and warm cream, not cold stuff straight from the fridge. Mash them up with salt and pepper, but don't go crazy with it or they'll get gummy. Keep them fluffy and soft. These are the ones you want at Thanksgiving. Way number 4. Crispy hash browns. Breakfast hash browns hit different, you know? Grate your potatoes, and this is important. Squeeze out as much water as you possibly can with a kitchen towel. Form them into patties and fry them in butter over medium-high heat until both sides are golden and crispy. The sound they make when they're cooking. Chef's kiss. Season with salt and pepper and try not to eat them all before they make it to the plate. Way number 5. Roasted potato wedges. When I want potatoes but I also want to feel like I'm being kind of fancy, I make wedges. Cut your potatoes into thick wedges. Toss them with olive oil, garlic, fresh rosemary, salt, and pepper. Spread them out on a baking sheet. Don't crowd them or they'll steam instead of roast. And bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 to 40 minutes, flipping them halfway. Crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and that rosemary smell? Amazing. Way number 6. Boiled new potatoes. Sometimes simple is best. Little new potatoes in salted boiling water for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're tender. Then toss them with butter and fresh herbs like dill or parsley. That's it. My grandma used to make these, and honestly they don't need anything else. The potato flavor really shines through. Way number 7. Potato chips. Okay, homemade potato chips are a game changer. Slice your potatoes super thin with a mandolin. Be careful with your fingers though. Soak them in ice water for 30 minutes. Then dry them completely. Fry them in small batches at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until they're golden. The second they come out, hit them with salt. They never last long in my house. Way better than the store-bought ones. Way number 8. Scalloped potatoes. When I really want to impress someone, I make scalloped potatoes. Thinly slice your potatoes and layer them in a buttered dish with cream, garlic, cheese, salt, and pepper. Cover it with foil and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. Then take the foil off for another 15 minutes until the top is all bubbly and golden. It's rich, it's creamy. It's absolutely worth the effort. Way number 9. Hasselback potatoes. These look so fancy, but they're actually pretty easy. You make thin slices across the potato but don't cut all the way through. It ends up looking like an accordion. Brush them with butter, season with salt, and roast at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. As they cook, the slices fan out and get super crispy. People always think you spent way more time on these than you actually did. Way number 10. Potato pancakes, lax. And rounding out our first 10, we've got potato pancakes or lax. Grate potatoes and onion, squeeze out the moisture. Sensing a theme here? Then mix with egg, a little flour, salt, and pepper. Form them into patties and fry until they're golden brown and crispy. Serve with sour cream or applesauce. My Jewish friends introduced me to these, and now I make them all the time, not just during Hanukkah. Way number 11. Twice-baked potatoes. Alright, remember that baked potato from way number 1? Well, we're taking it to the next level. Bake your potatoes, let them cool a bit, then cut them in half and scoop out the insides. Mash that potato filling with butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and green onions. Basically whatever sounds good. Pile it back into the potato skins, top with more cheese, and bake again until everything's hot and the cheese is melted. It's like a loaded baked potato and mashed potatoes had a baby. Way number 12. Tater tots. Yes, you can make these at home. Grate your potatoes, squeeze out the water like your life depends on it, then mix with a little flour, salt, and pepper. Form them into those cute little cylinder shapes. It takes a minute, but it's kind of therapeutic. And fry them until they're crispy and golden. They taste so much better than the frozen ones, I promise. Way number 13. Potato salad. Summer cookout essential right here. Boil cubed potatoes until they're tender but not mushy. Let them cool. Then mix with mayo, mustard, chopped celery, onions, hard-boiled eggs, and whatever else your family's secret recipe calls for. Everyone's got their own version, and everyone thinks theirs is the best. My tip: make it the day before so the flavors really blend together. Way number 14. Smashed potatoes. These are so satisfying to make. Boil small potatoes until tender. Put them on a baking sheet, and literally smash them flat with the bottom of a glass or a potato masher. Drizzle with olive oil, season with salt, pepper, and garlic. Then roast at 450 degrees Fahrenheit until the edges get super crispy. You get crispy and creamy all in one bite. Absolutely addictive. Way number 15. Potato skins. Game day snack perfection. Bake your potatoes, scoop out most of the insides. Save that for mashed potatoes or something. Brush the skins with oil and bake them until crispy. Fill with cheese and bacon, bake until the cheese melts, then top with sour cream and green onions. These disappear so fast at parties. Way number 16. Au gratin potatoes. Similar to scalloped but with way more cheese, which is never a bad thing. Layer thinly sliced potatoes with a cheese sauce made from butter, flour, milk, and lots of shredded cheese. Bake until bubbly and golden. It's rich, it's decadent, and it's absolutely worth every calorie. Perfect for holidays when you're already going all out. Way number 17. Oven-baked potato fries. A healthier take on fries, and honestly they still taste amazing. Cut potatoes into wedges or sticks. Toss with just a little oil and your favorite seasonings. I like paprika, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Then bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 35 minutes, flipping once. They're crispy on the outside, fluffy inside, and you don't feel quite as guilty eating half the pan. Way number 18. Duchess potatoes. Fancy name, fancy presentation. Make mashed potatoes but mix in egg yolks to make them richer and help them hold their shape. Pipe them into little swirls using a piping bag, or a plastic bag with a corner cut off if you're like me. Brush with butter and bake until golden. They look like something from a restaurant, but they're surprisingly easy. Way number 19. Potato gratin dauphinoise. This is the French version of scalloped potatoes, and it's incredibly creamy. Thinly sliced potatoes, layer them in a dish with cream, garlic, and just a hint of nutmeg. No cheese in the traditional version, which I know sounds weird. Bake low and slow until the potatoes are tender and the top is golden. It's elegant and silky smooth. Way number 20. Home fries. Diner-style home fries are all about that crispy caramelization. Cube your potatoes. I leave the skin on, parboil them for just a few minutes. Then fry them in a hot skillet with onions and peppers until everything's crispy and golden. Season with paprika, salt, and pepper. These are what weekend breakfasts are made of. Way number 21. Potato soup. There's nothing more comforting than a good potato soup. Dice up potatoes, onions, and celery. Cook them in chicken or vegetable broth until everything's soft. Then blend some of it to make it creamy while leaving some chunks for texture. Add cream, cheese, and top with bacon and chives. It's like a warm hug in a bowl, especially on a cold day. Way number 22. Curly fries. Okay, so you need a spiralizer for this one, but hear me out, it's so worth it. Spiralize your potatoes into those fun curly shapes. Soak them in cold water, dry thoroughly. Then fry them up until crispy. Season with a mix of paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. They're fun to eat and they taste amazing. Kids go crazy for these. Way number 23. Potato gnocchi. Homemade gnocchi sounds intimidating, but it's actually pretty forgiving. Bake potatoes, scoop out the flesh while it's still warm, mash it, then mix with flour, egg, and salt to form a dough. Roll into ropes, cut into little pillows, and boil until they float. Toss with your favorite sauce. I love them with brown butter and sage. Light and fluffy when done right. Way number 24. Loaded potato casserole. This is basically everything good about potatoes in one dish. Cube up potatoes, mix them with sour cream, cream cheese, butter, cheese, bacon, and green onions. Throw it all in a casserole dish. Top with more cheese and crushed crackers or breadcrumbs, and bake until bubbly. It's a crowd pleaser at every potluck I bring it to. Way number 25. Pomme Zana. This French dish looks absolutely stunning. You thinly slice potatoes and arrange them in overlapping circles in a buttered pan, brushing each layer with melted butter and seasoning with salt and pepper. Bake until the bottom is crispy and golden. Then flip it onto a plate. It's crispy on the outside, tender inside, and it looks like you went to culinary school. Way number 26. Potato wedges with seasoned salt. Sometimes you just want really well-seasoned wedges. Cut thick wedges, toss them with oil and a homemade seasoned salt. I mix salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little cayenne. Bake at 425 degrees Fahrenheit until crispy. They're simple but so flavorful. Perfect for dipping in ranch or whatever sauce you're into. Way number 27. Colcannon. This Irish dish is basically mashed potatoes mixed with cabbage or kale, and it's way better than it sounds. Boil potatoes and cabbage or kale separately. Mash the potatoes with butter and cream, then fold in the greens along with green onions. Make a well in the center and add a big pat of butter. It's hearty and comforting, especially with some corned beef on the side. Way number 28. Potatoes O'Brien. Classic American diner food. Dice potatoes and par-cook them. Then sauté with diced bell peppers, red and green, and onions until everything's crispy and caramelized. Season with paprika, salt, and pepper. The peppers add this great sweetness and color. These are perfect alongside eggs for breakfast. Way number 29. Fondant potatoes. These are restaurant fancy but surprisingly doable at home. Cut potatoes into thick cylinders. Sear them in butter until golden on both sides, then add stock and herbs and finish in the oven. They come out crispy on the top and bottom but creamy in the middle. The edges are buttery and caramelized. Definitely a special occasion potato. Way number 30. Sweet potato fries with regular potatoes. Wait, hear me out, I'm doing a twist here. Make regular potato fries and sweet potato fries, then mix them together. The savory and sweet combo is incredible. Cut both into similar-sized sticks, toss with oil and seasoning, and bake or fry them together. You get the best of both worlds, and the color contrast looks great too. Way number 31. Potato croquettes. These are like fancy potato balls, and they're so fun to make. Take leftover mashed potatoes, or make fresh ones. Mix in some cheese and herbs, form them into cylinders or balls, coat in flour, egg and breadcrumbs, then deep fry until golden. They're crispy on the outside, creamy on the inside. Great as an appetizer or side dish. Pro tip: they're even better with a little ham mixed in. Way number 32. Accordion potatoes. Similar to Hasselback, but you're making the slices closer together and really fanning them out. Slice thin cuts across the potato, brush generously with garlic butter between each slice, season well, and roast until crispy. Every slice gets crispy and garlicky. They look impressive, but they're actually pretty easy once you get the hang of the slicing. Way number 33. Patatas bravas. Spanish tapas that'll change your life. Cut potatoes into chunky cubes, fry or roast until crispy, then serve with a spicy tomato sauce and garlic aioli. The contrast between the crispy potatoes and the creamy, spicy sauces is just perfect. I make extra sauce because people always want more. Way number 34. Potato rosti. This Swiss dish is basically a giant crispy potato pancake. Grate potatoes, squeeze out the moisture. Yeah, we're doing that again. Season with salt and pepper, then press into a hot buttered skillet. Cook until the bottom is golden and crispy. Flip it and cook the other side. Cut into wedges and serve. It's like hash browns elevated to an art form. Way number 35. Shepherd's pie topping. Okay, so this isn't a standalone dish, but the mashed potato topping on shepherd's pie deserves its own shout-out. Make creamy mashed potatoes and spread them over your meat and veggie filling. Then use a fork to make little peaks and valleys. Brush with butter and bake until the peaks get golden and crispy. Those crispy bits are the best part. Way number 36. Tornado potatoes. These are so cool looking. You put a whole potato on a skewer and use a special cutting technique, or just carefully spiral cut it, to create this stretched out spiral. Brush with oil and seasonings, then bake or fry until crispy. You end up with this fun accordion spiral that's crispy all over. Great for parties because people love how they look. Way number 37. Potato frittata. Italian comfort food at its finest. Thinly slice potatoes and cook them in an oven-safe skillet until tender. Then pour beaten eggs with cheese, herbs, and whatever else you like over the top. Start it on the stove, then finish in the oven until the eggs are set. It's perfect for brunch and you can eat it hot or at room temperature. Way number 38. Funeral potatoes. Don't let the name scare you. These are incredible. It's a creamy casserole with cubed potatoes, sour cream, cream of chicken soup, cheese, and topped with crushed cornflakes mixed with butter. Bake until bubbly and golden. They're called funeral potatoes because they're a comfort food staple in the Midwest and Mountain West. Rich, creamy, and totally addictive. Way number 39. Bombay potatoes. Indian spiced potatoes that are absolutely packed with flavor. Parboil cubed potatoes, then fry them with mustard seeds, cumin seeds, turmeric, curry leaves, onions, and green chilies. The spices create this amazing crust on the potatoes. Finish with fresh cilantro. These opened up a whole new world of potato possibilities for me. Way number 40. Pommes soufflés. Okay, this one's tricky but so impressive if you pull it off. You double fry thin potato slices at different temperatures. And if you do it right, they puff up like little pillows. First fry at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, then increase to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and the steam inside makes them inflate. They're crispy, hollow, and look like magic. Even when they don't all puff perfectly, they still taste amazing. Way number 41. Aloo tikki. These Indian potato patties are so flavorful. Boil and mash potatoes, mix with peas, spices like garam masala, cumin, coriander, and a little cornstarch to bind. Form into patties and shallow fry until crispy and golden. Serve with chutney or yogurt sauce. They're crispy outside, soft inside, and the spices make them so aromatic. I could eat these all day. Way number 42. Potato galette. A rustic French tart that looks way fancier than it is. Thinly slice potatoes and arrange them in overlapping circles on puff pastry or pie dough. Season with herbs like thyme and rosemary. Dough with butter and bake until golden. The edges get crispy and the potatoes are tender. It's impressive enough for company but easy enough for a weeknight. Way number 43. Japanese karaage. Japanese potato croquettes that are popular street food. Mash potatoes and mix with ground meat, onions and seasonings. Form into oval patties, bread them and deep fry until golden. They're crispy outside with a savory filling inside. Way different from regular croquettes because of the Japanese seasonings and that unique oval shape. Way number 44. Steak fries. Thick-cut fries that are hearty and substantial. Cut potatoes into thick planks about ½ inch, soak them, then fry or bake until they're golden and crispy outside but still fluffy inside. Season generously with salt. These are the fries you want with a burger or steak. They can hold their own and don't get soggy. Way number 45. Potato pierogi. Polish dumplings filled with mashed potatoes and cheese. Make a simple dough, roll it out, fill with a potato mixture, seal into half moons, then boil until they float. After that, fry them in butter with onions until golden. Top with sour cream. They're labor-intensive but so worth it. My Polish neighbor taught me how to make these and now I'm hooked. Way number 46. Papa's arrogatas. Canary Island wrinkled potatoes. Trust me on this one. Boil small potatoes in super salty water until tender and the water evaporates, leaving a white salt crust. Serve with mojo sauce, a garlicky, spicy green or red sauce. The potatoes get this wrinkled skin and the salt creates this amazing crust. The mojo sauce is what really makes it special though. Way number 47. Loaded Hasselback potatoes. Remember Hasselback from earlier? Now we're loading them up. Make the accordion cuts, roast them, then stuff cheese, bacon and sour cream between the slices. Return to the oven until the cheese melts. It's like a baked potato and Hasselback had a baby and invited bacon to the party. Way number 48. Potato bread. Yes, potatoes in bread. Mash cooked potatoes and add them to your bread dough. They make the bread incredibly soft and moist, and it stays fresh longer. The potato flavor is subtle but it gives the bread this amazing tender texture. Once you try potato bread, regular bread feels kind of boring. Way number 49. Salt and vinegar roasted potatoes. For all my salt and vinegar chip fans out there. Boil potato chunks in vinegar water until tender, drain, then roast with oil and lots of salt until crispy. The vinegar soaks into the potatoes and creates this tangy, salty flavor that's just like the chips but way better. These are dangerously addictive. Way number 50. Patatas fritas. Spanish-style fried potatoes, but different from patatas bravas. Slice potatoes thin, fry them low and slow in olive oil until they're soft and golden but not super crispy. Season with salt. They're tender and almost confit-like. Often served with eggs or as a tapa. The slow frying in olive oil gives them this unique texture and flavor. Way number 51. Potato dumplings, Kartoffelklaus. German potato dumplings that are absolutely comforting. Mix mashed potatoes with flour and egg to form a dough, shape into balls, and boil until they float. Some people put a crouton in the center for surprise crunch. Serve with gravy or butter and breadcrumbs. They're dense and filling in the best way possible. Perfect with any kind of roast. Way number 52, waffle fries. You need a special crinkle cutter or mandolin for these, but they're so fun. Cut potatoes into that distinctive waffle pattern, soak, dry, and fry until crispy. The extra surface area means more crispiness and more space for seasoning to stick. They're great for dipping because all those little holes catch the sauce. Kids and adults both love these. Way number 53. Potato curry a la curry. A vegetarian curry that's pure comfort. Cube potatoes and simmer them in a tomato-based curry sauce with onions, garlic, ginger, and a blend of spices like turmeric, cumin, and coriander. The potatoes soak up all that incredible flavor. Serve over rice with naan bread. This is my go-to when I want something warm and filling. Way number 54. Cheesy potato bake. Different from au gratin. This one's all about layers of sliced potatoes with a simple cheese sauce, topped with breadcrumbs. Mix together cream, milk, and shredded cheese. Pour over layered potatoes, top with buttered breadcrumbs, and bake until bubbly. The breadcrumb topping gives it this nice crunch that balances the creamy interior. Way number 55. Garlic Parmesan roasted potatoes. Simple but absolutely delicious. Toss cubed potatoes with olive oil, minced garlic, grated Parmesan, Italian herbs, salt, and pepper. Roast until crispy and golden. The Parmesan creates this amazing crust, and the garlic gets all roasted and sweet. I make these at least once a week because they're easy and everyone loves them. Way number 56. Potato pizza. Yep, potatoes on pizza. Don't knock it till you try it. Thinly slice potatoes, parboil them briefly, then layer them on pizza dough with rosemary, olive oil, garlic, and maybe some cheese or caramelized onions. Bake until crispy. The potatoes get tender and slightly crispy on the edges. It's surprisingly delicious and very Italian. Way number 57. Batata hara. Lebanese spicy potatoes that pack a punch. Cube potatoes and fry until crispy. Then toss with a mixture of garlic, cilantro, chili paste, lemon juice, and spices. They're spicy, tangy, garlicky, and so addictive. Often served as part of a mezzi spread. These are the potatoes that make you reach for more even when you're full. Way number 58. Potato gnocchi with ricotta. A lighter take on traditional gnocchi. Mix mashed potatoes with ricotta cheese, flour, and egg. The ricotta makes them incredibly light and pillowy. Boil until they float, then toss with your favorite sauce. These are so tender they almost melt in your mouth. Way lighter than regular gnocchi but still super satisfying. Way number 59. Crispy smashed potatoes with herbs. An upgrade on the smashed potatoes from earlier. Boil small potatoes, smash them, but this time top with fresh herbs like rosemary and thyme before roasting. The herbs get crispy and aromatic. Drizzle with a little balsamic glaze or lemon juice before serving. The fresh herbs really elevate these to something special. Way number 60. Potato lax with zucchini. A twist on traditional lax by adding grated zucchini to the potato mixture. The zucchini adds moisture and a subtle flavor, plus some extra vegetables. Form into patties and fry until golden and crispy. They're a little lighter than all potato lax but still have that perfect crispy exterior. Great way to sneak in some extra veggies. Way number 61. Potato samosas. Indian pastries filled with spiced potatoes. Make a filling with boiled potatoes, peas, onions, and spices like cumin, coriander, and garam masala. Wrap in pastry dough, seal into triangles, and deep fry until golden and crispy. Serve with tamarind or mint chutney. These are crispy, flaky, and packed with flavor. They take some time to fold but they're so worth it. Way number 62. Ranch roasted potatoes. For all the ranch lovers out there, toss cubed potatoes with ranch seasoning mix. Or make your own with dill, garlic powder, onion powder, and parsley. Add some oil and roast until crispy. They taste like ranch dressing but in crispy potato form. My kids request these constantly, and honestly I don't blame them. Way number 63. Potato pakoras. Indian fritters that are absolutely addictive. Thinly sliced potatoes, dip them in a spiced chickpea flour batter with turmeric, chili powder, and cumin, then deep fry until crispy. They're crunchy, spicy, and perfect with a cup of chai on a rainy day. The chickpea flour gives them this unique texture that's different from regular batter. Way number 64. Lyonnaise potatoes. Classic French bistro potatoes. Slice potatoes and parboil them, then sauté with caramelized onions in butter until everything's golden and crispy. Season with parsley and serve. The sweet caramelized onions with the crispy potatoes is such a perfect combination. Simple but elegant. The French really know what they're doing. Way number 65. Potato wedges with sour cream and chive dip. Okay, so we've done wedges before, but this time we're making the ultimate dipping experience. Make your wedges extra crispy, then serve with a homemade sour cream and chive dip with a little garlic and lemon juice mixed in. The cool, tangy dip against the hot, crispy wedges is perfection. Sometimes it's all about the pairing. Way number 66. Aligot. This French dish from the Auvergne region is basically mashed potatoes taken to the extreme. Mash potatoes and beat in tons of cheese. Traditionally tome fresh, but you can use mozzarella and Gruyere, along with butter and garlic until it becomes super stretchy and elastic. When you lift your spoon, the potato should stretch like melted cheese. It's rich, indulgent, and kind of mesmerizing to watch. Way number 67. Potato tacos. Don't sleep on potato tacos. Dice potatoes small, season with cumin, paprika, and chili powder, and pan fry until crispy. Serve in warm tortillas with all the fixings. Salsa, avocado, cilantro, lime. They're hearty, flavorful, and surprisingly filling. A lot of taco places offer these as a vegetarian option, but homemade is even better. Way number 68. Crispy potato skins with barbecue chicken. Taking potato skins to the next level. Make crispy potato skins like before, but fill them with shredded barbecue chicken, cheese, and green onions. Bake until the cheese melts. It's like loaded potato skins met pulled pork and had the most delicious baby. These are serious game day food. Way number 69. Truffled mashed potatoes. Fancy mashed potatoes for when you really want to impress. Make your creamiest mashed potatoes, then stir in truffle oil or fold in fresh shaved truffles if you're feeling really fancy. Just a little truffle oil goes a long way. Don't overdo it. The earthy, luxurious flavor elevates simple mashed potatoes to restaurant quality. Way number 70. Potato quesadillas. Another great vegetarian option. Mash or dice seasoned potatoes, spread them on a tortilla with cheese, fold in half, and cook in a skillet until crispy and the cheese melts. The potatoes make it really filling and substantial. Add some black beans and peppers if you want. Serve with salsa and sour cream. These are easy, cheap, and delicious. Way number 71. Potato leek soup. A classic combination that's so comforting. Sauté leeks in butter, add diced potatoes and broth, simmer until tender, then blend until smooth and creamy. The leeks add this mild onion flavor that's so much more delicate than regular onions. Finish with cream and fresh herbs. This is what I make when I need something warm and soothing. Way number 72. Greek lemon potatoes. These are bright and flavorful. Cut potatoes into wedges, toss with olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, oregano, and chicken broth, then roast until they're tender and have absorbed all that lemony goodness. The edges get crispy while the inside stays soft and tangy. The lemon really makes them sing, so different from typical roasted potatoes. Way number 73. Potato empanadas. Latin American hand pies filled with seasoned potatoes. Make a filling with mashed potatoes, cheese, and spices, wrap in empanada dough, seal the edges with a fork, and bake or fry until golden. They're portable, delicious, and perfect for parties. Every country has their own version and they're all amazing. Way number 74. Buffalo roasted potatoes. For the spicy food lovers. Roast potato cubes until crispy, then toss them in buffalo sauce and melted butter. Roast for a few more minutes to let the sauce caramelize a bit. Serve with ranch or blue cheese dressing and celery. They're tangy, spicy, and have all that buffalo wing flavor without the chicken. Way number 75. Cottage pie topping. Similar to shepherd's pie, but this deserves its own mention. The mashed potato topping gets spread over a beef and vegetable filling, then you can pipe it decoratively if you're feeling fancy, or just rough it up with a fork. Brush with butter and bake until golden. Those crispy, buttery peaks are absolutely the best part of cottage pie. Way number 76. Potato blintzes. Jewish-style crepes filled with mashed potatoes. Make thin crepes, fill with seasoned mashed potatoes mixed with caramelized onions, roll them up and pan-fry in butter until golden. They're crispy outside, soft and savory inside. Often served with sour cream. These are labor-intensive, but they're a special treat. Way number 77. Poutine. Canadian comfort food that's taken the world by storm. Make crispy fries, top with cheese curds, and smother with hot gravy. The gravy melts the cheese curds into this gooey, squeaky deliciousness. It's messy, it's indulgent, and it's absolutely incredible. Once you've had real poutine with proper cheese curds, nothing else compares. Way number 78. Potato and chorizo hash. Spicy Spanish-style hash that's perfect for breakfast or dinner. Dice potatoes and fry them with chorizo sausage, onions, and peppers until everything's crispy and the chorizo has released its paprika-infused oil. Top with a fried egg if you want. The chorizo adds so much flavor and that beautiful red color to the potatoes. Way number 79. Loaded baked potato soup. All the flavors of a loaded baked potato in soup form. Make a creamy potato soup base, then load it up with bacon, cheese, sour cream, and green onions. Some people add chunks of baked potato skin for extra texture. It's thick, creamy, and tastes exactly like a loaded baked potato you can eat with a spoon. Way number 80. Sarladaise potatoes. Another French regional dish, this time from the Périgord region. Thinly slice potatoes and cook them slowly in duck fat or goose fat with garlic and parsley until they're tender and golden. The duck fat gives them this incredible richness. Yes, it's indulgent, but it's also absolutely unforgettable. Save this one for special occasions. Way number 81. Potato donuts. Yes, you read that right. Donuts made with mashed potatoes. The potatoes make them incredibly soft and fluffy. Mix mashed potatoes into a sweetened dough with flour, eggs, sugar, and yeast. Let it rise. Cut into donut shapes, fry and glaze. They stay fresh longer than regular donuts and have this amazing tender texture. My grandma used to make these and they're still one of my favorite treats. Way number 82. Rosemary garlic Hasselback sweet potatoes. I know. This is technically a sweet potato, but the technique is pure Hasselback. Make those thin slices, brush with garlic butter and fresh rosemary, and roast until crispy. The sweet potato adds a different flavor dimension. Sometimes you gotta bend the rules a little, and this combo is too good not to include. Way number 83. Potato vodka base. Okay, so you're not exactly eating this one, but potatoes can be fermented and distilled to make vodka. Many premium vodkas are potato-based. You'd need special equipment and licenses to do this at home, but it's cool to know that potatoes have given us more than just food. They've given us spirits too. Just had to give a shout out to this unique potato use. Way number 84. Crispy Parmesan potato stacks. These look like they came from a fancy restaurant. Thinly slice potatoes with a mandolin, toss with melted butter, Parmesan and herbs, then stack them in muffin tins and bake until crispy and golden. They come out looking like little potato roses. Perfect for impressing dinner guests, and they taste as good as they look. Way number 85. Potato and corn chowder. A thick, hearty soup that's perfect for cold days. Dice potatoes and simmer with corn, onions, celery, and cream until everything's tender. Add some bacon if you want extra flavor. The potatoes help thicken the soup naturally, and the sweetness of the corn complements them perfectly. This is my go-to soup recipe in the fall. Way number 86. Japanese potato salad. This is totally different from American potato salad. Mash the potatoes more, add Japanese mayo, which is tangier and richer, cucumber, carrots, and sometimes ham or apple. It's creamier and smoother than Western potato salad. The texture is almost like a spread. Once you try it, you'll understand why it's so popular in Japan. Way number 87. Potato lefse. Norwegian flatbread made with mashed potatoes. Mix mashed potatoes with flour, butter, and cream to form a dough, roll it super thin, and cook on a griddle. It's soft and pliable, perfect for spreading with butter and sugar or cinnamon. My Norwegian friend's family makes these every Christmas, and the smell is just incredible. Way number 88. Crispy potato tacos, tacos de papa. Different from way number 67. These are more traditional Mexican style. Mash seasoned potatoes, spread on corn tortillas, fold in half, and fry until the tortilla is crispy but the filling stays soft. Top with lettuce, salsa, and crema. The contrast between the crispy shell and creamy potato filling is perfect. These are authentic Mexican street food. Way number 89. Duchess potato casserole. Taking Duchess potatoes and making them easier for a crowd. Pipe or spread the Duchess potato mixture in a casserole dish, creating swirls and peaks, brush with butter, and bake until golden. It has all the elegance of individual Duchess potatoes, but you can make it for a big group. Great for holidays when you want fancy but manageable. Way number 90. Potato and bacon breakfast burrito. Wrap it all up. Dice and fry potatoes with onions until crispy, scramble some eggs, cook bacon, then wrap everything in a large tortilla with cheese, salsa, and sour cream. It's portable, filling, and has all your breakfast favorites in one package. I make a batch on Sunday and have breakfast ready for the whole week. Way number 91. Potato gnocchi alla sorrentina. Italian comfort food at its finest. Make potato gnocchi. Then bake them in tomato sauce with mozzarella and basil until the cheese is melted and bubbly. The gnocchi soak up the sauce and get this amazing texture. It's like a cross between pasta and potato casserole. Absolutely divine with some crusty bread on the side. Way number 92. Sweet and spicy roasted potatoes. A flavor combo that shouldn't work but totally does. Toss cubed potatoes with olive oil, honey, chili flakes, paprika, and a pinch of cinnamon. Roast until caramelized and crispy. The honey caramelizes and creates this sweet glaze while the spices add heat. It's sweet, spicy, savory all at once. Your taste buds won't know what hit them in the best way. Way number 93. Potato chip crusted chicken, potato side. Okay, so technically the chicken is the star here, but we're crushing potato chips and using them as a coating. The potato chips create this incredibly crispy, flavorful crust. You can also use this technique to top casseroles or mac and cheese. It's a fun way to use potatoes as a coating rather than a filling. Creative, right? Way number 94. Garlic butter smashed fingerling potatoes. Fingerlings are these cute little potatoes that are perfect for this. Boil them whole, smash them gently, then roast with garlic butter until crispy. Their small size means you get more crispy surface area per potato. Finish with flaky sea salt and fresh parsley. They're elegant enough for a dinner party but easy enough for a Tuesday night. Way number 95. Potato and spinach samosas. A variation on traditional samosas with added greens. Mix mashed potatoes with sautéed spinach, onions and spices, wrap in pastry, and fry until golden. The spinach adds nutrients and a subtle earthiness that complements the potatoes perfectly. These are my go-to when I want something that feels a bit healthier but still indulgent. Way number 96. Rosti with fried egg. Taking Swiss rosti to breakfast territory. Make your crispy potato pancake. Then top it with a perfectly fried egg. The runny yolk mixes with the crispy potatoes and it's just magical. Add some smoked salmon if you're feeling fancy. This is the kind of breakfast that makes you want to wake up early. Way number 97. Potato and mushroom gratin. Earthy, elegant side dish. Layer thinly sliced potatoes with sautéed mushrooms, cream, garlic, and thyme. The mushrooms add this deep, umami flavor that makes the whole dish more complex. Bake until bubbly and golden. This is what I make when I want to impress vegetarian friends. It's hearty enough to be a main course. Way number 98. Crispy potato skins nachos. The ultimate fusion. Make potato skins but load them like nachos with cheese, jalapenos, black beans, salsa, sour cream, and guacamole. They're sturdier than tortilla chips and add a whole other dimension to nacho night. These are always the first thing to disappear at parties. Way number 99. Aloo gobi. Indian potato and cauliflower curry that's aromatic and delicious. Cube potatoes and cauliflower. Cook them with onions, tomatoes, and spices like turmeric, cumin, coriander, and garam masala until everything's tender and coated in sauce. The potatoes and cauliflower absorb all those incredible spices. This is vegetarian comfort food at its best. Way number 100. Classic potato gratin with Gruyere. We're ending where we began, with a classic. But this is the ultimate version. Thinly sliced potatoes layered with cream, garlic, nutmeg, and lots of Gruyere cheese. Bake low and slow until it's golden, bubbly, and absolutely perfect. Every layer is creamy, cheesy, and exactly what potato gratin should be. This is the dish that reminds you why we fell in love with potatoes in the first place. We did it. 100 ways to cook potatoes from all over the world. From the simple baked potato we started with all the way to this beautiful classic gratin. We've been around the world and back. We've fried them, baked them, mashed them, turned them into donuts, and even mentioned vodka. If this journey has taught me anything, it's that the potato is probably the most versatile ingredient on the planet. Whether you're cooking for yourself on a Tuesday night or hosting a fancy dinner party, there's a potato preparation for every occasion and every mood. Thank you so much for joining me on this absolutely ridiculous and absolutely wonderful potato adventure. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go eat some potatoes. I'm thinking maybe I'll start back at number 1.